Hello, it's time for another devotion. This one yet is another tough one, one that most people don't like to talk about or hear about or to kind of actually take action to do. So, we're going to talk about forgiveness. And this is something I've had to deal with in the past, and we'll get to that a little bit here in this. So, when you're talking about forgiveness, there's kind of two parts to it. For one, there's the person who is going to be asking for forgiveness, and then there's the person who is accepting the forgiveness or doing the forgiving. First off, I want to talk about the person who is going to be asking for forgiveness. With this, there's an action that must be taken place, and it's not just by our words. You must actually make a change to your behavior, to your words, or to your actions, or whatever you've done that caused you to have to ask for forgiveness. As a parent, I realized pretty early on that this was something that I was forgetting to teach my kids. You tell them all the time, okay, you did something wrong, you took their toy, or you hit them, or you know how little kids can be, and you tell them, okay, you need to apologize. They'll apologize because you told them to, but there's no action or change. So that's what we forget to tell them. And something I have been trying to teach my children is you can apologize all you want, but until there's an actionable change that is taking place, your words really don't mean anything. You have to make an active change in your action, in your behavior. Now, we all slip, we all fall, and it's going to be something that's going to take time, but it's something you have a discussion with. You know what? I made this mistake. I'm going to be working on it. Can you please help me work on this so that I will not be doing this again towards you or toward anybody else. So there has to be an adjustment or an actionable change to yourself. Otherwise, your words mean nothing. And it's the same way as if I walked up to somebody and decided just to flat out slap them, ask for forgiveness, say, hey, it was a mistake, I shouldn't have done that. They forgive me, and then turn around a little bit later and I slap them again. Well, my actions don't speak to what my words were. So you have to have them both in agreement. Hey, I did this, it was a mistake, and I'm never going to do it again. And so you work toward that. If you turn around and blatantly do it again, your words mean absolutely nothing. I want to look at this as when we're going to God. We'll kneel down or we'll pray, hey, God, forgive me of my sins. I've done this wrong, I've done that wrong. And then we get up from praying and we turn right around and we do the exact same thing all over again. It's like we're saying words, but we're not actually making the change. It is difficult to make the change, no doubt, but that's when we ask God, hey, I'm continually falling into this particular sin, or I'm continually doing this. I need your help in order to break the habit that I'm doing and create a change in me. That's when you have others who are helping you out, friends who are helping you out, keeping you accountable. But we've got to stop this repetitive, okay, well, God, just forgive me of the sin because I can kneel down and pray, but there's no actionable change. We have to have that actionable change. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. So now when we're talking about the second person who is giving the forgiveness, well, there's two parts to this as well. One is somebody is asking you for forgiveness. The other one is nobody ever asked you forgiveness, but forgiveness is still needing to be given. This is also very tough because when you're giving forgiveness, you're having to release your anger, your hurt, your resentfulness, your fear of them doing this again. This is what forgiveness is letting it go. And that's your actionable part. But the problem is it's not forgotten. That's where we struggle with wanting to give complete forgiveness, is because the action that they've done will never be forgotten. And we're not asking for it to be forgotten because it's still going to be there. Even though somebody may ask for forgiveness from you, still doesn't mean you have to go be their best friend, be by their side, stand by them, do all these things. You can give the forgiveness, yet the relationship does not still have to be there. That is a tough one. This is one that is a struggle for a lot of people. They believe that when you give forgiveness, your relationship is back again, but that's not always the case. Sometimes that relationship will never be rebuilt, but forgiveness can still be given. And then the other part to that is, even though somebody may never ask you for forgiveness, you still have to forgive them. And yes, it is tough because you can hold on to this resentment, this hurt, but what it's doing is it's really affecting your spiritual walk with God, because He needs you to give that forgiveness, because when you're holding on to that, that gives Satan a foothold into your heart and your mind, going, look, this person's going to do it, or they're continuing to do this. He's ruling over you. But when you give that forgiveness and you let it go, you have a more room for God to move in and do miraculous things in your life. I'm gonna tell you, it was tough because I've had, a couple people that I held on to things for a very long time until God started dealing with me. It's like, hey, you need to give them forgiveness. You'll never forget what happened, but forgiveness is key because it healed me. And it's the same thing when you hold on to this unforgiveness. What you're doing is you're eating a poison apple expecting it to hurt the other person. Well, they don't care about it, or they're not even thinking about it. The only person you're hurting is yourself. It's not easy. I get that. I know how tough it is. But that's where you ask God to, hey, please help me to release this anger, this hurt, and this unforgiveness, because it will draw you closer to God. And I promise you will. I know the difficulty of it, but I know that you can do it. And sometimes you may have to say, and go to the person, or even write them a letter or write them a message. Hey, this situation happened and I know it's destroyed our relationship, but you know what? I forgive you for what you've done. Whether you've asked for forgiveness or not, I've released it and I've let it go. And sometimes that person may be holding that over you because they know they've done wrong to you, but they just love being able to hold something over you. But by you releasing them, it loses their hold upon you, and you are now free. So pray about this. Seek the Lord. Even the Bible speaks about how many times we're supposed to forgive people. And even if somebody slaps one cheek, you turn and let them do the other. We forgive 70 times 7. It's very difficult for us to do, but it's something that the Bible is adamant about forgiveness, because God forgives us. Not only does He forgive us, but He forgets. That is the difference, is He forgets what we've done and it is gone. You know what? I know this is a tough one. Love you guys. Again, my link to my YouTube channel is up in the profile up at the top. So please click on there, subscribe. I always post to my YouTube channel long before I post on Facebook. But until next time, love you guys.